Hey, how are we doing? Welcome to Your Successful Retirement. What I want to talk about today is, and I hate when people start podcasts like that, but I'm going to start it like that today. I'm sorry. I want to talk about making yourself invisible. I don't mean like the Invisible Man. I always wondered about that one as a kid watching that. Is like, can he not go to like colder climates because he can't wear clothes? It's just one of those strange things that you think about as a kid, and it's always stuck with me. But I want to talk about making ourselves invisible for scammers and things like that. We talked about some scams a couple months ago, but I want to focus on kind of making us more invisible. I was trying to get a hold of my mom's cousin recently, and he was a firefighter. He was a lieutenant, deputy lieutenant. So he was a big deal in a major city firefighter community. Retired a couple of years ago, and I was trying to find him. He had moved. We didn't know where he moved to. Lost touch, but it was important for me to get a hold of him. And he did a great job of making himself disappear online while he was working, because he didn't want people to be able to find him because of all of the issues of, well, you didn't do this right or that right. We're going to target your family or whatever. He wanted to protect his family from that, and he disappeared. It was next to impossible. I found him through his wife. He had moved to New Hampshire. He's doing great. Retired, really happy. But making ourselves more invisible is probably very important, and some things we can do to reduce the chances of being scammed or having our data stolen and our identities stolen. It's important to do these things so that we can make sure that we protect ourselves. And I was talking with my wife's cousin a couple months ago. This one floored me. Is you have if you have your regular grocery store, you have an app, and he works for a major national grocery company that owns a bunch of different stores in different areas. And he was telling me about this, and I was fascinated. My wife was just staring at us like couldn't believe it. And he was talking about that. Well, they can track you with that app if you open the app. So they encourage you to open the app when you get to the store. Now, my son works for Stop and Shop, and they're big on getting people to join on the app, and I couldn't figure out why. And then I talked to my wife's cousin, and I find out why. It's not that they can track your shopping history only, although that's important. As I have one for the small regional grocery company that I do business with. They do a great job of tracking my purchases. They'll fill a cart with they want me to do the shopper list shopping, whatever you call it, where you just do the pickup. Can't be bothered. I need to go in there. I need to look at the bananas I'm picking. I'm definitely looking at the meat I'm picking. I'm not letting them pick things. I'm going in, but they're always like filling my cart with things that these are the things that you're going to buy this week. And they're really good at it. They're also really good at giving me coupons that, I'm running literally yesterday. My wife was going to go grocery shopping, and I was going through the store coupons on the app. Son of a gun, tea bags. And I had just noticed that morning we were running low on tea bags. And yep, we'll give you $1 off on tea bags if you come in today. Sold. I'll definitely take the $1 off because that's the closest grocery store, and that's a grocery store we like. But here was the scary thing that my wife's cousin talked about. He said they encourage you to open your app when you get there, and they track your path through the store. They know where you're going. That's how customized this is. And that just blew my mind. Is they can target to get you, if they want you off of your normal path, they will give you coupons to force you off that normal path to buy other things. If they want to try to reinforce things that are on your path, they know what you're going to be looking at. All of that, it is frightening. Forget the Google, how much Google tracks you. Forget the almost sinister and possibly sinister, if you looked at the Wall Street Journal report from I think 4 or 5 years ago on Meta and how Instagram, really messes with people's psyche, and they knew that. Forget all of that. Is your grocery store is even tracking you to the nth degree, and let's see if we can kind of pare that down, because it's kind of important. Is the first one's the credit card, and I don't know about you. I used to get my credit card stolen all the time. And it's much less now. That's the one I'm really surprised. But obviously keep control of your credit card. The strangest one, and this is the one that really hit home to me, is 24 years ago. Took my girls to Disney. And instead of checking in first day to the parks in our hotel that we were staying on property, we flew in the night before and we booked a hotel just on International Drive in Orlando. And we got in, we did that. We had dinner that night. Next morning, we had breakfast at like Denny's, checked out of that hotel. Off we went, checked into where we were supposed to be. My parents were coming down. They flew in, they met us there and dropped our bags off to the park. We went at like 11 o'clock back with 22 years ago, 24 years ago, when you could go on a weekday and it wasn't slammed with people. I get home a week later and I get a phone call from my credit card company. Your credit card's been compromised. No way. There's no way. It hasn't left my site at all. Like even in Disney, it didn't leave. Even in Florida, it didn't leave my site. And I'm cracking my brains, and I forget how I realized because it's been 24 years. But it dawns on me. I mean, they have everything. They have my address. They have the 3-digit code on the back. They have everything. Everything. And I went, oh, I know who stole it. And the woman on the phone goes, what do you mean? I said, it was, and I forget the hotel on International Drive in Orlando. I can tell you the person's name, their first name, what shift they were on. I know exactly who stole my credit card. And the frightening thing was they did not care. They just didn't care. They weren't going to call the police. They couldn't be bothered. They were going to write off the charges. They were going to move on. And I thought it was stupid at the time, but I think about it now and knock on wood, I haven't had a credit card compromised in a while. And I think it's because the credit card companies use their resources to make their credit cards more secure. So always protect that 3 or 4-digit code on the back of your card. I don't even save it on my phone. My phone says, well, I can save that for you. You know what? No. How about no? How about one thing I'm going to put on there? I trust the security of the phone. I really do, but I'm going to keep that one just to me, just for me. That's important. So next thing, and I cannot stress this enough. It frightens me how blasé people can be, because this is like the key to your financial life. Protect your social security number like your life depends on it, because that's how important that number is. I am amazed at people that will show you, give you, hand you their social security number with no problem. I fight tooth and nail, even with medical establishments that want my social security number. Of why? Why do you need that? What's the big deal? Especially if like I'm paying cash. It's like I'm paying cash. You don't have to worry about finding me later and tipping me upside down for this money. I'm paying you cash up front. I don't want to hear it. So like eye exams, things like that. I am very careful, because with that social security number, somebody can take over your entire life or do a good job of it. You want to be very careful with that social security number. I tell people that come in, that somebody comes in for a meeting, first meeting, I tell them, bring all these documents, including the tax return. Guess what? Your tax return has your social security number on it. At the end of the first meeting, I hand the tax returns back. They go, you want these? I'm like, no. Well, why not? I said, because it has your social security number on it, and I don't want your social security number, and you shouldn't want me to have your social security number. You should hold that very close to your vest. When I need it, I will get it back from you. But for right now, I took the little couple of pieces of data I need from your tax return, and I don't want to hold your tax returns any more than necessary. Is my industry, the regulations in terms of making sure that we keep your data secure are massive. And I go, it's important to me. It's always been important to me, in my personal life, of protecting that social security number. Is we make a big deal of it beyond that, because it's important. So protect that like your life depends on it, because your life depends on it. I have had clients that have had their identity stolen because their social security number was compromised. It's not pretty. The next one, and this one's more an annoyance than anything, but it's important, is unsubscribing to unsolicited texts and emails. This was something that used to not work. Is 15, 20 years ago, if somebody sent you an unsolicited spam email, which was a big deal back then, it's like, how dare they send this to me? And people would write long letters to these companies and all of this, and they'd say, oh, click unsubscribe here. And you'd click unsubscribe to like something that's not 100% kosher. That just told them that that person is actually reading their emails, and that would actually make them send you more stuff. That's not the case today. Is hitting unsubscribe in your emails is going to reduce the amount of clutter in your email box, reduce the amount of ability of you making a mistake, giving people information, clicking on the wrong ads, whatever. Vitally important. Is same thing with texts. I am in the middle of trying to wrestle with my iPhone to get it to stop notifying me of any text that is not from somebody that's not in my contact list, because I don't care. Uh, maybe put them in a special area. I've tried and it still continues to annoy me. And I probably get 4 or 5 unsolicited texts per day. That's just wrong. Send me an email. Do not send me a text. So I'm in the middle of kind of wrestling with that, because the new iPhone software allows you to, or iOS update allows you to screen your call. That if you've called somebody and you get this recorded message, please state your name and the reason for your call, and I'll try to find the person. That's not at the phone company. That's at your phone. That's the phone system doing that. And it just stops people from talking to you and spamming you. They need to do the same thing. It's easier with text, but unsubscribing makes a huge difference. It will cut down on the email box. It'll make it easier for you to understand what's in the email box and be able to read through it. Hit that unsubscribe. I'm amazed that whether it's on your phone or on your computer or on your tablet, it's not just the unsubscribe and the fine print at the very bottom of the email. It is in the header. Is your email program, whether it's on your computer or on your phone, already knows this is unsubscribable and it's gone. And the reason they can do that is 20 years ago, everybody that had an email list did it themselves. This is one of the things that the technology came about to make things simpler for marketers. So there are the MailChimp Constant Contact. Sometimes you see those at the bottom of an email. We use MailChimp. We send out email to our clients, a blast email. Well, those services took over the last 20 years. And that's where those unsubscribe buttons become very, very important. Is it really does unsubscribe you, as opposed to it used to be to send an email to the person running the list and they go, I'm not unsubscribing this person. Too bad for them. It was a very manual process, sometimes used for nefarious reasons. Now it's very automatic, so it does work. Let me give you 4 different websites, and I'm going to try and put this in the comment section, the show notes, so that you can have this. And you can click on these links, but these are 4 links that will actually reduce the amount of clutter and it kind of make you disappear to some extent. Do you get a lot of catalogs? I don't get a lot of catalogs anymore, but I signed up for this and I continue to sign up for this, so I don't get them very often. But the one that irks me is you'll get a Christmas present from a friend or a relation, and it'll be from, say, Harry and David, and it comes in the 1st of December. Oh, isn't that nice? You get some pears or whatever. You enjoy the pears. And you get a catalog. And the next week you get a Harry and David catalog. The next week you get a Harry and David catalog. And then it rolls around to middle of January. You get a Harry and David catalog. Hey, you know that Valentine's Day is coming up. Then you get an XYZ companies. Hey, all of a sudden, Harry and David has sold your name as somebody who's getting catalogs to these other catalog companies. And it can grow exponentially. It's less so today than it was, say, 25 years ago. 25 years ago, I probably had about 3 inches of catalogs I was getting before I did this per week. My poor mail people were just like at the chiropractor all the time because of my mail alone. By doing this, you can reduce that to almost 0. And it's DMA choice, all one word, .com. Direct Marketing Associations is the DMA. Is you go online with them and you can say, stop sending me. And there's a button right there that says, stop sending me catalogs. Is when a retailer, when an online or catalog retailer goes to market things, they run a cross-reference through this, because they don't want to send you a catalog, which probably costs them $1 if you're not going to buy anything. That would be stupid. So they cross-check their list of who they're going to send out to this Direct Marketing Association's list, and it reduces the amount substantially of the catalogs you get. I was amazed inside of, when I first did it, again, 25 years ago, I was amazed inside of about 6 weeks. They dropped off to a trickle, and I don't get the much at all, is it is a service you have to sign up every, I think either every 5 or 10 years. You have to re-up. If you move, you have to change it. You have to re-up again because now you're in a different address. But very important to cut down on the paper, so we're saving the planet, and cut down on just the annoyance factor. The second one, annualcreditreport.com. All one word, annualcreditreport.com. This is a service that's put out by the credit agencies to check your credit rating once a year per agency. So you can go on a couple times a year and pick different agencies. You can go on once a year and do all three or just one, but it's a good idea to be watching to make sure you're still invisible, to make sure somebody hasn't compromised your data, to go online with at least one of the agencies at least once a year and look at your credit report. As you'll go there, it will bring you from annualcreditreport.com to the rating agencies, and you'll go there. They'll verify you by asking you questions like, have you owned any of these cars? A 68 VW Beetle, an 87 Toyota Tercel, a 92 Mercedes E-Class. And you'll go through, and sometimes, yes, you've owned it. Other times, no, they're trying to fool you because they're trying to make sure that you're you. Once they clear it, they'll provide you all the information necessary. I recommend once a year. I have had people say, there's 3 credit agencies. I'm going to do one every 4 months. Sure, great idea. I think that's a good idea. Nobody's going to do that. There is probably a 1 in 1,000 people that will do that. I am organized about my financial life. I will not do it that often. It's just excessive. I think once a year is probably good, to make sure that nobody's adding something to your credit at the time. And that's, we'll talk a little bit more about credit in a few minutes. Third one, my gosh, I have not laughed about a online service more than nomorobo.com. Just the way it sounds. NOMOROBO, Nomo Robo, or no more robocalls. I have had this for 12, 13 years at my home. Yes, I still have a home phone. I still have a home phone. It still rings. I got a phone call from a senator looking for re-election. It wasn't the senator, obviously, last night, and because the phone rang more than once and actually looked at it. So let me talk about what Nomorobo does. Nomorobo uses the technology in all phones today, or all phone systems today, to ring your phone in 2 different places at once. So I set this up 12 years ago at home. I've never set it up on my cell phone yet because I don't get as many spam calls on my cell as I do in my house. And it rings in 2 different places. It rings at your house or on your cell phone, and it also rings at Nomorobo. Well, Nomorobo keeps a running database of spam and scam callers, and they take all the calls. So they look and they go, oh, this is a scam/spam caller. They pick up the phone, and a recorded message comes on and says, yeah, we don't want to talk to you. Please take us off our list. And I will tell you 12, 13, 14 years ago, even despite being on the the federal do not call list, which doesn't really work, I would get 5 to 8 phone calls per day on my home phone. Most of them coming during dinner time. Go figure. Remember when everybody called during dinner time? And the first week I set this up, it was a little complicated at the time. It's a little bit easier now. It's a matter of just turning on a service with your phone company and then setting up things with Nomorobo. It rings. So my phone would ring. And it only would ring 3-4 times. My main phone is right next to where I sit for dinner. So I get up, I'd look at the caller ID and go, oh, and sit back down. I have to listen to the phone ring 4 times before the machine picked up. Well, with Nomorobo, it goes ring, and that's it. And it's done 2 wonderful things. So we'd sit there at dinner and we'd hear ring, and we'd all kind of giggle. And 3 minutes later, ring, and we giggle again because at the second ring, that's what Nomorobo is picking up. They will pick up that fast. It has to ring somewhat, and they have to process a little bit, but it's like a tenth of a second into the second ring. Boom, that's it. They own the call. They own the call. That was advantage number 1. I will tell you advantage number 2 is at 57 years old now. I am a child of rotary phones with the on the wall with the ridiculously long cord that's always twisted. If the phone rang, you answered it. I remember my Aunt Elaine and Uncle Arthur got an answering machine. It's gonna be 1978, 79. And oh, they're so fancy. They have an answering machine. That's just stupid. You just call back. What's the matter? My entire family, and myself included, I'm like 10 at the time, thought it was just so haughty and so pretentious. So if the phone rang in 1979, you answered it. And it didn't matter if it was your house or not. If I'm at my grandmother's talking about, Laney and Arthur and their phone and the answering machine, and the phone rings, this is how everybody answered the phone at my grandmother's house. Hello? Yeah, who's this? That's everybody. To this day, if I call, well, now you get the caller ID, but my Aunt Laney will still answer the phone that way. Used to still answer the phone. Like, hi, who's this? Like, you're going to tell me who's calling so I can get to the right person in this household. That need to answer the phone very quickly, it was like buried in me. 6 months of waiting for the second ring and have to go rip. They go, don't have to deal with it. The phone rings now. I don't care. Let Nomo Romo answer it. And if it's actually a legit call, it'll go to voicemail, and I'll check the voicemail and I'll call them back. And that works out. So Nomo Robo is huge. It'll cut down on the scams and spams. If you have an older relative, this is a great thing to put on their phone so they can stop the spam and the scam. Even on the cell phone, it will work on your cell phone. I will tell you, the cell phone companies and the phone manufacturers are very good at IDing that, but they're not good at stopping them. I don't understand why. This will stop them. So that's a big deal. And the last one is, and this is less so a problem than it used to be, again, 10, 15, 20 years ago, is credit card offers. And I will tell you why you don't want to get credit card offers in the mail. First of all, you're not buying a credit card from an offer through the mail. It's not 1995 anymore. You're not doing it. If you're getting a credit card, you're doing it by watching a commercial on TV. You're going online, you're doing your research, and you're signing up for a credit card. You're not waiting for something in the mail. It's just not happening. Here's what can happen is somebody can be watching your mailbox, and they can go through it while you're at work and find one of those credit card offers. And they can sign up for it and wait for the credit card to come in at your house and then just take the credit card because they're watching your mailbox. It's rare, but it can happen. It also kills the trees because yada, yada, yada. But if you go to opt out pre-screen, again, all one word, and this will be in the show notes, optoutprescreen.com is a service that the credit card companies use. Just like the Direct Marketing Association, all the direct marketers use, this is one the credit cards use. And you tell the credit cards, I don't want a mailing for an offer for a credit card. It shuts them off. Click. It lasts for, I believe it's 5 years every time. They'll turn it back on. And you'll know when it turns back on. Suddenly you'll get a flood of credit card offers in the mail. Click, turn it back off again. It will cut down on the mail. It'll cut down on, again, for an older relative, them accidentally signing up for things they don't want. And it will cut down on potential for fraud. So that's vitally important. All right. Going back to credit. Should you lock your credit? I get this question probably once every other month from a client. Should I lock my credit? It's not a bad idea. It isn't. You have to understand that it's a hassle, or can be a hassle. It's a question of how often do you use credit? Because if you do use it often, you need to know how to turn off that lock and turn it back on. You can usually do it through your phone or a quick phone call to the credit agency. But locking your credit to make sure that somebody else doesn't try to access your credit, doesn't take out loans in your name. It also means that you can't take out loans in your name while it's being locked. Again, the unlock is very quick. You got to remember to relock it afterwards. It's a little bit of work, but it can protect things. Again, for an older relative, probably something important to do to make sure that nothing happens there, to kind of do the protection. But for everybody, it's not a bad idea. You just got to know the process. And if you don't take out loans often, you might forget, and it'll take you a little bit of a process. It's not a big deal. It's not like it's rocket science, but you have to be aware that, oh my gosh, my credit's locked, because you'll go to buy a car or lease a car, And the dealership will say, yeah, we can't get your credit. Your credit's locked. Your credit's locked. Yeah, I locked it. I was the one that locked it. I'll unlock it. Getting less so that they panic these days, but still be aware of that. And I'll tell you, this is probably the most important. Again, the odds of this happening is very small, but I see people do it all the time. Do not email or text critical, sensitive data unsecured. Please, pretty please, sugar on top, don't do it. Now, our industry and most industries that deal with sensitive data, so you're dealing with financials across from banks to brokerage firms to firms like me to medical, things of that nature, we have regulations in place that we have to use secure means. We have to send things on an encrypted basis. I find that clients will just email me their entire tax return. Remember the social security numbers on there, and your address and a whole bunch of other data. Don't. If you're dealing with an advisor and they say, email that to me, ask for a secure link and upload it to them. Now, is this foolproof? No, it's not. I had a situation about a year ago. One of my daughters on her personal email got an email from a bank regarding a loan for somebody that wasn't her, along with all of the loan documents with the social security number on there and mother's maiden name and all of that data. And we shipped that email right back to them and said, you sent this to the wrong person, and this is supposed to be sent secure. You are not supposed to send this unsolicited, unsecured with just via email to the client. That's not how it's supposed to work. And I was shocked. It was some small podunk bank, I think in Iowa or something. And they're probably struggling with this, and people don't, I've struggled with it with older clients. It is hard sending them a secure message or having them upload documents to us on a secure basis. It takes a little bit of education, but it saves you. Is regular email, somebody can intercept and they can get that information. You want to make sure that you lock that as good as possible. Just lock them out, use a secure upload, download. Again, if you're dealing with a financial advisor or a financial institution, they are going to have some sort of portal. We actually have 2 different portals we use, depending on how the client is using it, to be able to provide documents back and forth to make sure that it's very secure. So those are kind of the tips to kind of make you disappear. It's not going to make you disappear entirely. You'll kind of be like transparent, more than invisible, but making yourself invisible or transparent is important because it will reduce the amount of times that you'll be scammed, reduce the amount of times that potential that you could be compromised and have identity theft and things of that nature, because you don't want to get involved in a situation like that. It is ugly. Nobody wants to help you after you get your identity stolen. So you make sure that we protect it early. So that's all we have for this week. If you have questions, jump down to the show notes. You can get in touch with us that way. You can also send me an email directly to dennis@successfulmoney.com. And if you have specific questions on your situation, other than that, stay safe out there. I'll see you next time.
Thank you for listening to our podcast. Remember, the views expressed are not necessarily those of Successful Money Strategies. All content is for educational purposes only and should not be construed as an endorsement of any third party or their views, or as a solicitation or offer to sell securities or provide investment, tax, legal, or consulting services. We believe the information presented to be reliable, but it is not guaranteed for accuracy or completeness. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Hypothetical returns do not reflect actual trading and may not be indicative of the performance of any specific investment. Always consult with a qualified financial advisor before making any investment decisions. Past performance is not a guarantee of future results. Additional information, including management fees and expenses, is provided on our Form ADV Part 2, available upon request, or at the SEC's Investment Advisor Public Disclosure website, https://advisorinfo.sec.gov.